Welcome back to the UWM podcast. Here we have Casper, our funded trader. How you doing today, Casper?
What's going on, Jameson? I'm doing great, mate. Ready to start? Ready to get into it?
Yeah, so Casper here just received his $16,000 payout. Big payout, Casper. How's it feel?
No, it feels great, mate. I mean, it was a long time coming. But to be honest, just trying to put it behind me and just focus on the next one. But it feels good. It's a milestone achieved, and it's just fueling that personal capital that I'm hoping to grow.
Yeah, and that's a good mindset to have because it's not like it ends here. Your journey it just starts really.
Exactly, buddy. Just having that done next mentality. We've got the payouts, great. Most of it's going to the tax man anyways. And then yeah, just focusing on just keeping that same level that got me the first one. Make sure I'm maintaining that to get the second, third, and fourth. Longevity.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got into trading.
Yeah, so I mean, my journey started back in 2019 now, so many years ago. Started off, in a Signals group chat,
Like
and a little
everyone
bit of
else.
money here, like everybody else, buddy, like everybody else, thinking, oh, this is so easy, I'll learn it for myself. And then, ever since that moment, I've just been on the road of ups and downs, joining a community after a while, staying there for about 3 years, leaving it. That was a very big decision to leave, just because, look, man, it wasn't working for me. Find another way to trade which kind of fits me a little bit more, less noise. And yeah, I mean, after a year, after a year getting the first payout, and then still just learning, man, still just in the process of learning, refining, still figuring out, what works, what doesn't. Like I said, this payout, it's great, but it's about maintaining. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said that you're, trading a different strategy than you were, a year ago. How does that feel?
It feels great, man. It feels great. I mean, previously I would trade every single pair, literally every single pair in the forex market. And I know many traders like yourself, you can do that. But for me, it was too much going on at once. There was too many places to look at. Um, the way I trade now, I only look at one pair, pound yen. And like I say, I'm still very, very much in the early stages, but because I'm stuck on one pair, and I trade it every week, I analyze the week, I see what happens, what do they say, history rhymes or something like that. I can see moves that happen on the pair more frequently than not. And because of their moves, I'm able to kind of develop my own systems of
Yeah.
being able to exploit, what happens often. But I bring that down just to trade on that one pair, and kind of get in the flow of it rather than every week jumping around here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like, trading that one pair helps you focus on that and studying its behavior week to week.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it comes down to kind of the person that I am as well. When I've got a lot of things going on, I struggle to focus. I struggle to put my energy where it should be, whereas with one pair, like you said, I'm a lot more focused. It's not sensory overload,
Yeah.
I don't have information flying left and right. I can just focus on catching one move, 1 week, and being done.
So would you classify yourself as more of a swing trader, intraday trader? What type of trader are you? Or you don't classify yourself as anything?
Buddy, pound yen as a whole, it should be swung. It should be a swing pair. It's got big volatile movements. At the stage I'm at, as difficult as it still is sometimes, I do try to hold my trades over a couple of days. The way I see it, the less, as long as I'm positioned, you know, I'm less exposed. Uh, I'm minimizing my exposure, which means, I get in a lot less poorer positions. If I just get into a trade, have a further target, it helps me, it helps me not give away that much of my profits back. So I want to embody a swing trader, but it is hard because you have to see profits come and go, especially on this funding challenge. I was very close to passing it many times, but I kind of stuck to the plan and didn't take my profit to where I could have, which in hindsight it would have passed me the challenge quicker. But I stuck to the plan and tried to be a swing trader, and it worked out in the end. So that's kind of what I am trying to do. Less chart time, less exposure, get position, and just let the market do its work.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like, trading pound yen, you were able to really study its behavior, master it, and you noticed that even holding bigger moves on it, you traded the same way as you would, sounds like, on your personal capital. Obviously, if you were trading on your funded account, every 2 to 1 that you hit, you could close it. But it sounds like you were just sticking to the good habits that got you to where you're at right now.
Exactly, buddy. I remember, this is my first challenge. I remember I was trying to mix and match, trade my personal one way and then trade the full and funded challenges another way. As soon as I'm in profit, close a bit. But it just didn't work for me. It just didn't work. I've got to have one system that I trade across my personal account and the full and challenge. Don't get me wrong. You can have different accounts to trade differently. Some might be a swing account, another might be a scalp account, a more aggressive account. Some might be just a bullshit account where you just want to take trades that they're not proper, but you've got accounts separate to that where you just completely detached from it. Whatever happens. But for me to pass the challenge, less exposure, get positioned, let the market work. If it takes me out, many of times, mate. I was up, 100 pips, and then could have closed it. It pulls back, maybe takes me off at 20. But in the moment that I wasn't in the market and I was just trading it, it meant that I wasn't trying to get in. If I'm already positioned, I'm not trying to get in. Trading in the middle basically, and where the markets are the most volatile, very hard to trade. Getting positioned at the edges, worked fine for me, and I've done that on my personal, and it's worked on the funded as well.
Yeah, that sounds like a good strategy. Would you be able to walk us through it on your charts?
Sure thing, mate. Sure thing. It's hard to describe because, like I said, I am still a student. I've never really had to teach anybody, but I can show you, no problem. Yeah, sure thing.
Perfect. So,
can you see my chart?
Yeah, I see your chart. So what time frames would you say you look at the most? And yeah,
I get my monthly bias, which basically all it tells me is just whether I should hold my trades for longer or shorter. That's all it is. And then from there I look at the weekly, and every week has its flavor, and basically just trade the weekly candle. I just see where the moves go and I try to hop along. I'll show you a quick trade. There's many ways you can trade pound yen, not just pound yen, every pair. There's so many different ways I couldn't begin to describe, right? But basically it's very simple. I've got my own edge, which I'm still developing after a full year, a full year of a lot of losses. I'm kind of seeing what works and what doesn't, and my edge basically just tells me, like everybody else, there's a higher probability of people coming into the markets and pushing price my way than not,
Yeah.
Whether that will happen or not, who knows? That's all it tells me. But basically, I just try to look for how can I describe it? I basically try to see where, the institutions, the banks, when they may have stepped in. I've got an area that I might trade, and I just look what happens. I just look how price reacts. For example.
So you pretty much look at where the market left a footprint.
Absolutely. And then just seeing how price reacts to it, when it's in these areas, right? Sorry, I've just got my laptop in the way.
You study the monthly profile of it, and then you jump down to the 4-hour, and you just look at.
I jump down to the weekly. I see how the weekly's forming, and then I look at the 4-hour. Yes. Look at how the 4-hour candles are shaping up. And then 15 minutes execution, but mainly I just look at the 4-hour. I see where price is. I see what the candles are doing. and whether if it's in the right area or whether the candles form in a particular way, I might go down in the 15 minutes and then just look for an entry.
Nice, nice. So, want to show us like what was your biggest trade this year that you caught on GJ?
Yeah, sure thing. This is actually the payout trade. You know,
Yep.
without going too much into it. Look, at its simplest, we've got a footprint. Somebody sold. Price came back up, and the only question is, did they protect or not? Simple, very simple. Price came, to the zone. It was shaping up nicely on the 4 hour. I seen what I had to see, and then I just jumped down to the 15 minute.
Nice.
Jumped down to the 15
That's a
minutes.
big trade, big sell off. So you
It
pretty
is,
much
buddy.
get in at the peak points of price on GJ.
I try to, yes. I mean, of course, sometimes you might have to enter later, but I try to be on the charts in the right moments. And if you get in at the edges, it takes a lot of guesswork away, and it takes a lot of getting stopped out in and out when the trade's still valid. So I do try to get in at the edges as much as I can.
So top and bottom of ranges is like your bread and butter, pretty much.
Absolutely. In the middle, I mean, I'm not experienced enough yet to really master trading in the middle, trading everywhere. I find it the simplest at the edges. Because to be honest, based on the stop placement as well, it either gets invalidated or it goes your way. If it gets invalidated, perfect. On to the next. If it goes your way, cool. You'll manage a trade. You've already got a profit target in mind and just see if it gets there. But just to quickly jump in without taking up too much time. Very simple, very simple. I like to look at pin bars, retrace candles, but just anything that sparks my attention, like that might be them, that might be the players that make the big moves. Maybe they got in here, So just very simply at its basics. Price was moving up. Well, we're getting to the edges, and all it was very simple. I just seen all of these candles, however many it might be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-ish candles. Let's just say 10. Got engulfed by 2 candles, and I was like, oh, it takes money to do that. People think that just because these candles print every 15 minutes, there's no meaning behind them. It takes a lot of money to print a candle. So at its simplest form, it was in the right area. I saw the 2 candles print, and I thought, look, it might be them. After this candle printed, we had a little pullback, just took 50%, and just seeing what happens. Pulled back, tagged me in, and I just left it, man. I left it. It was a zone trade, just held it to the nearest target. Ooh, sorry.
That's quite interesting. So basically, you wait for price to get into those zones, and then you wait for price to consolidate in those areas, and then you wait for pretty much an impulsive break in price to get that confirmation of when you can look for your entries.
I mean, possibly. Look, man, there's many ways. There's many ways. Sometimes it is like an impulsive break like this. Sometimes maybe I just see a lot of wicks. And I just think, look, somebody has to be making these wicks, so I take the trade. And look, sometimes, honestly, very risky, you could say, but if the stop loss placement is right, the signal hasn't yet printed, but I know it's likelier that there will be a reaction at the zone. I may just set a limit there, just because the stop loss placement's nice. I'd rather just get tagged in, and if I get tagged out straight away, no problem. But I'd rather get tagged in and see what happens rather than later trying to get in with like a 30 pip stop loss. If I can get in with 7 pips and it's a good area that I know I'd want to trade, maybe I'll just set a limit and just see what happens. But setting limits, I'm not at the level yet where I'm super precise with it. Like I said, still a student, still learning, had the payout, and just trying to maintain it, my friend.
Yeah, that's that's a good mentality to have, man. So basically, right now, would you say you have a specific session you trade in? London, New York.
Yeah. So this is just one of the other problems that I am actually still dealing with as a student. I do tend to be on the charts a little bit longer than I should be, but we are decreasing it slowly but surely. my main session is right before London opens. Actually, I'm on the
Oh,
charts at, you know, 7 o'clock or about half 7 UK time. I can usually see a little move happening right before London opens, and if something happens, great. If not, turn
you
my
go on
charts
with
off
your
and
day.
go to work. I go on
Okay,
with my
cool.
day.
So, what do you do for work?
Uh, I just work in an office. Don't want to get too much into it, but yeah, just working in an office. It's a normal 9 to 5 job. I enjoy it. Um, Look, a lot of people go for trading for the freedom, right? However, I quite enjoy my work. I enjoy what
Nice.
I do, and I enjoy the stability of it. People that are like, oh, I'm going to do trading and quit my job. Sure thing, man. How I kind of look at it is, I just use trading to improve my life. Give me some extra money here and there to spend. Of course, as I progress further, it'll give me more. But I'm not really in the mentality to quit my job and be a full-time trader, because it's boring. It's boring. There's not really much to do. I'm not at a point yet where I have a lot of money where I can venture out into other businesses. I log the charts in the morning. I see what's there. If there isn't anything, I go about my day. It actually makes me go less on the charts. It makes me take less dog shit trades. So for people that are just, I'm going to do trading just to quit my job for the freedom, you really have to think about it, because it's a lot of stress and it's a lot of pressure. Well, it might not be stress, once you see isn't enough, but it's a lot of pressure getting your whole income just from trading. So I quite like to have my job, which, I know I get a steady income from, and, and by no means is trading a hobby. I put full-time effort into it for the past 5 years, but, I like the stability.
Well, one of the things that I know for sure for a fact is like all the successful traders that I have in my circle, I notice that they don't just depend on one income, which like trading is, right? So they have other things going on, and it actually gives them more of an edge in the market because if you have strict guidelines, a strict routine, you kind of know when to look at the charts, when to not at the charts. You have bigger winning days actually because you're not forced to rely on a paycheck at the end of the week because you're getting it somewhere else, right?
Absolutely, buddy. I mean, do you know what? A lot of people see the job as like a nuisance, right? They look on Instagram and they see all this stuff about, you've got to have many sources of income. Absolutely. But it's like they completely disregard the 9 to 5 job, as a source of income, like almost one business. Then you've got trading, then you might have something else on the side. But the thing that, the 9 to 5 is a nuisance. It's not. It's almost like you've gained a level of consistency. You're constantly getting money, as long as it doesn't interfere with your trading. If your job's really stressful, or it doesn't allow you to trade the sessions that you want. It should be seen as an asset, something that helps you. If you have a bad week, you're in the mentality. It's gonna get better, because however you've lost money, you're gonna make money the same way. But it's always nice knowing at the end of the month you're gonna get something to live off. Even if that paycheck might just pay off the rent for your house. At least that's rent paid.
Yeah, and I'm no one to say 9 to 5s are bad or anything. It's just I think if you like your job, and trading is that extra uh, career in your life, and that's fine too. I think in this day and age, a lot of people do hate on this 9 to 5. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur or whatever it is, right? But um, I think it's good though if you like your job. There's no hate to that for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that you've got to go out and socialize. You can't just be
In
can't be one
your
of them traders that just.
You can't just be in your
I,
room trading, right? You gotta be out. Yeah,
I,
there's other skills to
exactly, man. You've got to
develop.
go talk to people.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So besides trading and work, what do you like to do on your free time as hobbies?
On my free time, I like to do sports. Play
Nice.
football, boxing. Just keeping healthy, man. Keeping a healthy mind. You know, Look at different ways to get balance in your life. A bit of meditation, and learning about the brain, about the soul, about the mind. just constantly developing your understandings of just things that interest you. So
Yeah.
yeah, just
It, it
stuff
sounds
like
like
that, buddy.
it sounds like you've embodied quite a bit of successful traits that I hear from traders. And my question to you is, who have you learned from? Is there any type of books you read? Where do you get like this knowledge? Because I would say, right now where you are in your journey, you have pretty much all the traits that a lot of successful traders speak about.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I've met a lot of people on the way, who speak of, who embody how to be a good trader, who go away from that flashy lifestyle of, fast cars and all that stuff. And, they kind of show what it's really like to be a trader. And it's just boring, it is boring. And, I kind of learn from them, and I don't try to copy them. That's another thing that I've started to do. I no longer try and copy off people. I kind of try to work out what works for me, take what they have on board, and, take little nuggets and just try and piece my routines, piece my life using that information, but just seeing what works for me and kind of learning from my own trial and errors. So, I've met good people on the way that I learn from, but also just seeing how I react. What things can I put in my routine that I react well to? Just because somebody says they drink, that they drink, I don't know, lemon water in the morning, and have a cold shower and whatever the hell, that might not work for you. You've got to see what works for you and keep on doing that. Don't try and be somebody else. Don't try and be somebody that you're not.
Yeah, you need to know yourself, right? And you can only know
Absolutely, yeah.
yourself by going through, all these little routines that we hear about. What's it like for you
Yeah,
right now, as a morning routine for you? Is there a specific one you follow every day?
honestly, buddy, there's one thing that I've done that kind of just changed the game for me. Look, I try to copy off a lot of people's routines. I try to do all different stuff, and none of it worked. If you're a poor trader, you're a poor trader. It doesn't matter what you do in the morning, probably won't help you if you don't know how to trade. But one thing that has helped me, and that's getting two phones. And it's absolutely changed the game for me. Why that is look, I would wake up in the morning, okay, before I would check my charts on my phone and kind of, with my foggy brain, see what's shaping up and make the decision whether I'm going to trade or not. Absolute garbage. What I would do after then is, get up, go on TikTok, go on Instagram, check the charts, and just absolutely load my brain with just sensory overload, flicking
Yeah.
through TikTok, flicking through Instagram. I look at the charts and I look down at my phone, just flicking through, and basically what that did was it absolutely numbed my brain, just throughout the whole day, to the point that signals would print, but because my brain, my sensory system was so overloaded with just utter garbage all day, I couldn't even see the signals print. After the fact, I was like, whoa, where even was I for the whole day?
So it's like
So now what I do is,
it's
yeah,
like you
go
got
ahead.
caught in a box pretty much, and you didn't realize all these negative things it had on your body.
Absolutely. And then now what I do is, I go on my phone before I fall asleep. That's no problem. But what I have is I've got a spare phone right here, and I just put that on my desk with an alarm set for 6:30, or 6 o'clock, whichever. And when the alarm goes off, I'm no longer looking at my phone, in my bed, looking at the charts. I get up, I go to my desk, I turn the alarm off, and then, I go downstairs, go outside, get some fresh air, make myself a coffee, do some stretches, and then I'll load up the charts, and I do not touch my normal phone until about 5 p.m. UK time. And then after that, you know, this phone only has Trade and View, MT4, and that's about it. And then after the trading day is done, I can pick up my old phone and look through Instagram, look through TikTok, and load up the dog shit in my brain, really. But during the day, I just have this.
Yeah.
and
So
it's
during the day,
honestly it's
you're
changed the game.
focused. Yeah. Yeah. During the day, you're focused, and would you say you're more in a calm state to make better decisions in the market?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, look, as I try to trade before London, sometimes just a little after London as well. But then I also like to trade the overlap. And if prior to the overlap, right, I was just on social media constantly, I can't think straight. So, not being on the phone all day gives me that clear sense of mind. If I do load up the charts on the overlap for an hour, maybe I can see what's actually happening.
Nice, nice. So we talked about mentality, your strategy, and your backstory. What would you say
Yeah.
right now is like your five main goals, for the next year?
Five, as much as five, Jameson.
Well, one goal. You don't have to tell us all five, but
Yeah, I'm only joking, buddy. To be honest, just maintaining. I wouldn't even say maintaining because I'm not at the place I want to be yet, but just keep on paying close attention to pound yen and continuing to monitor the pair. I've only been on it for just over a year, so I'm still so new. Um, just constantly seeing what works, what doesn't, and just refining the entries maybe a little bit, refining the stop loss placement, the profit targets, um, and just taking out the stuff that doesn't work and just focusing more on the stuff that does work, and really monitoring over trading, because we can trade at any moment. There's no rules, there's nobody telling us not to trade. We've got to have that discipline to, if it's not your session, don't trade. And that's just what I'm working on as well. So it's just constantly developing that foundation, like I said, still a student, just maintaining that foundation and slowly trying to improve on it.
yeah, I really respect that humbleness that you carry. Like I see it too often where a lot of people, they get a bit of success and then they just think that they've mastered everything, and they don't put in the effort that they did to what got them there in the first place.
Exactly. I mean, look, just because you get a big payout, and yeah, we say big, but in the grand scheme of things, it's tiny, right? But just because we get a payout doesn't mean we're gonna keep that money.
Yeah,
Couldn't be further from the truth. So that's kind of, I understand. Yeah, it's a nice payout. Like I said, most of it goes to the tax man, anyways. But just making sure you don't give all that money back. Just keeping the foundation strong and keep on learning from mistakes, from yourself, how you react when you're in the market. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And looking at your journey since 2019, if you had to go back, at the beginning, would there be anything that you would have changed?
Yeah, many things. I wouldn't have started trading for starters. No, no, no. I'm joking, buddy. I'm joking. Yeah, I mean, one thing I would do is I'd think for myself a lot more. I wouldn't do what other. What I would do is think for myself. Look, if I can see that something just isn't working, you know, uh, but other people are saying, oh, it works, but they can't prove that it works with their own results. They're just following other people that's saying that it works. I just think for myself and look, maybe I should try something else. Kind of just have a bit of trust in myself to make the right decision and not follow other people. Um, yeah, that's what I would probably do.
Yeah, absolutely. It comes down to confidence, right? A lot of people they'll join communities and then they'll get lost in it, and they forget that they have to become their own trader, right? There's not going to be someone over your shoulder telling you when to click the button, buy or sell, right? You have to really develop that market experience on your own. Even if you have, a mentor here and a community, it's very important to listen to yourself.
Look, exactly. See, so in no way am I saying the community I was in is bad or good. Every strategy, there's people that can make it work and there's people that can't. But what kind of was a struggle for me was I was trying to copy other people. You know, I was trying to be like other people, and I was trying to trade like other people, and you know, whether they took the trade or not, that would tell me if I did the right or wrong thing. You know, I wouldn't try and become my own trader. You know, and I feel that's a problem. You know, when you are in certain communities, you know, where there is maybe one guy that or multiple people that, you know, everybody tries to embody, you kind of don't learn who you are, you know, and don't actually learn what you like to trade or how you like to trade, because you try to focus so much to be like this one person that's obviously succeeded. You never truly find yourself and the trader that you want to be. So yeah, you know, if you do find yourself like you are just trying to copy somebody, maybe take a step back, you know, realize that it's not them that are going to be the reason that you make or break it. It's learn from yourself and seeing what works for you. Just like with routines, just like with trading, and what works for one person doesn't work for another, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really well said. So just to wrap it up, Casper, if you had to give, 3 tips to newer traders coming into the market today, what would it be?
Get 2 phones. Look, whether you think that, you know, scrolling through TikTok, or I don't know, even some people like playing, you know, video games, like playing FIFA and stuff throughout the day, won't affect your trading and won't affect your decision making skills. You are wrong. You know, it will drain your battery, and you will not be able to perform at the highest level. So that's what I would say, is just get a phone throughout the day or throughout your trading sessions, and just go on that until the trading day is done. I would also say, you know, maybe narrow down the pairs that you trade. Maybe you trade 20 pairs, you know, because some strategies, I know many successful traders that, you know, do trade multiple pairs, but they do try to limit them. You know, they've got the favorites, maybe 5 or 6 pairs, you know, that they really enjoy and it gives them good profits. Maybe limit your pairs down, just start to get a feel for them, you know, seeing what moves happen on them, and you can be more in flow with the pairs if you trade smaller amount. And I would probably say, look, just don't be afraid to take losses. You know, just lower your risks down, your lot sizes down, and just make sure you're taking trades, because you're never going to learn from the trade that you didn't take. Like, never. That feeling that tells you that whether you should or shouldn't take a trade, if you're always hesitating, you're never going to know whether that feeling is something that you should follow. Just take the trades, record how you felt before the trade, how you felt after the trade, and over time you kind of get a gist of, you know, whether that little feeling is actually helping you or not. But if you're just hesitating and not taking enough trades, you'll never actually understand, you know, what your body is kind of trying to tell you. So yeah, I would say don't hesitate to take trades. You learn from your losses, you learn from mistakes. Get 2 phones, and yeah, narrow down your pairs a little bit, maybe.
That's very well said, Casper. And we're really happy that you joined our prop firm, and we're happy with your payout. And we're excited to see for what's more to come from your journey.
Sure thing, man. I mean, hopefully I'll be on here again. And yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it, mate. Nice speaking to you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too, buddy. Bye bye.